Hello, gorgeous people. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's reading is the person on your mind. What are their regrets when it comes to you? Do they even have any regrets? We'll see what messages come through. So we have 3 groups for you to choose from: group 1, 2, and 3. If you need to pause the video so you can take a moment to choose your group, feel free. But I will see you guys in your readings. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the first group, then this reading could be for you. Person on your mind, what do they regret when it comes to you? Do they have any regrets? So for this group, it feels like they do have some regrets. When it comes to you, they could actually have major regrets actually with all these major arcana cards coming through. I don't know if I said them yet, but we have the Sun in reverse, we have Justice card, and we also have the Star upright. So for a lot of you here, like maybe some of these messages will resonate, maybe all, I don't know. But just take what makes sense for you. But this person, they could regret not being positive about you. And this could be especially around other people. They could regret letting other people influence them where you are concerned, maybe caring too much about what other people thought. So they kind of regret letting in these third parties and letting other people interfere and, kind of preventing them from realizing the full potential of what could have been shared between you guys. And they regret putting distance between you both and missing out on what could have been a great opportunity for them. So they regret not being like complacent with you. I don't know if that's the right word. And they regret not being happy with you. I don't know if this person was a bit pessimistic when they were around you sometimes, or like they just didn't fully allow themselves to, be happy. Maybe there was always, something or a bone to pick. I don't know. But they regret not being happy with you, like they were trying to fight it or deny it. And yeah, they just regret not being warmer with you. They feel bad for being unsure and confused. They regret not telling you how warm you made them feel. So at the moment, they are feeling guilty for not taking you seriously and letting their unresolved issues put them in a dark place where you're concerned. They also regret not accepting your generosity. And even though they have regrets, they also accept where they went wrong, and they could feel that you have moved on. They're happy you've moved on. And, they also feel that you don't really hold any malice towards them either. So they're kind of glad that you're not kind of holding on to any hurt like within yourself regarding them, at least in their perspective, which they have a lot of respect for as well. And they like it that you seem to be in a better place. But they do feel guilty for possibly disturbing your peace, your harmony and balance. They could also feel like they are now dealing with bad karma because they feel you didn't deserve something that they did to you. So they kind of feel like now they're kind of having to work through things. Maybe that's, one of the reasons why they have been able to kind of maybe take accountability in a way. So yeah, they could feel like they are still suffering some kind of consequences, but they are trying to take it on the chin, trying to hold themselves accountable, maybe holding a few other people in their lives accountable as well. maybe people who could have been involved in the breakdown between you guys, and it feels like they would want to make amends, but they also want to leave you to it because especially if you haven't reached out to them, it feels like they kind of don't want to be that person, like when someone's doing good and they've moved on, like they reach out to you, like if you do reach out to them, they kind of, if like contact does happen between you guys, they want it to be on, your terms and because you want to reach out to them, not because they're kind of forcing it. So yeah, they feel that if you wanted to reach out to them, you would. They could really want to reconnect with you, and they regret that being an unlikely possibility, you know? So yeah, they regret not accepting your fairness and your honesty. And if at some point you closed yourself up around them, and you closing yourself up impacted your personal life or your work or your relationships and stuff like that, they feel guilty for making you go within yourself like that, you know and taking you, that was clarified by the Four of Cups, and taking you away from like who you are, as a person. So yeah, they also regret not healing and not working on themselves. They regret not appreciating the positive influence that you had on them and in their life. So we have don't judge me, we have no excuses. We have why so serious. We have your skin looks like silk. We have you are hypnotizing without even trying. I will do everything to protect you from worries you don't feel the same. We also have pursue your true wealth, and we also have prosperity and free will, and it says get out of your cocoon. So with don't judge me, they could actually regret. For some of you, I don't know if this is both or one or the other or neither, but they could regret judging you, or they could regret thinking that you were judging them. And they could also regret listening to the judgments of other people when it came to the two of you. So with your skin looks like silk, they could actually regret not telling you that you are beautiful or that you have lovely skin. Even if this is something that they did tell you before, they could regret like not saying it more. And with I will do everything in my power to protect you, they regret not doing that, like not protecting you or protecting the relationship that you guys had, or within something within your relationship. And with no excuses, it's not really a regret, but it feels like now they're not making any excuses when it comes to maybe their actions in your relationship. And with this card here, it feels like they regret not returning your feelings in the same way in the past as well. They could regret being way too serious. So with your hypnotizing without even trying, it feels like they regret thinking that you were possibly manipulating them in some way. So with prosperity and with purse, wallet, pursue your true wealth, it feels like they could see you as being in a really good place right now, whether that be in terms of work, in terms of family, relationships, or just in general, financially, stability, whatever it is, like, or you could just be happy. And they see you being in this wonderful energy, and it feels like they really regret not being able to share that with you and kind of be a part of that. And it feels like they also regret judging your free will or how you used your free will. Like they could regret judging you for maybe being confident or for being just who you are, for not being in like a box or a cocoon. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, they could regret kind of judging how you carried yourself in terms of your free will and just you being yourself, really. But yeah, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful. I'm wishing you the best. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Okay, take care. Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the second group, then this reading could be for you, person on your mind. Do they have any regrets? So it does feel like they do have regrets when it comes to you. Um, it feels like their biggest regret could be betraying you, maybe causing you significant pain and maybe putting you through a difficult time. They regret maybe lying to you or just not being, super forthcoming, not being straightforward, not acknowledging your feelings as well. They regret possibly confusing you, manipulating you, and let me see something quickly. And for some of you, maybe you're aware of this person and them kind of having that energy towards you. For others of you, you may not have any idea that they had these intentions and this energy towards you, that they were betraying you or lying to you and not being straightforward, confusing you. So some of you might not be aware of this at all, and they regret like their own kind of maybe sneaky background behavior that you might not even be aware of. But either way, it feels like they definitely regret lying about their intentions. They feel bad for some of the hurtful things that they've said. And again, like this could be directly to you where they've said these hurtful things. But again, like some of you may not have any idea of what these hurtful things could possibly be, because maybe they didn't say it to you and they kind of said it to other people. So again, like they could feel guilty for their kind of things that they did or said behind your back. So yeah, they regret failing you in some way, and they regret not being the person you thought they would be. For some of you, they could regret changing your view or your approach to love and relationships. Doesn't have to be romantic relationships or love, of course. But especially if any of you have been taking a time out from love and relationships, they kind of maybe regret, putting you in that kind of energy. But yeah, they feel guilty for the burdens they placed on you. And that you may have carried the pain they caused into other relationships. They regret that as well. And they could also regret the tension that they created in some of your other relationships. They regret things ending and they regret the finality of it all, you know? like, the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. And so they also regret their actions because they've had to face consequences for some of the things that they did. So they kind of regret, like, not only, putting you in a certain situation, but kind of creating repercussions for themselves. So for a lot of you here, like, they regret not manning up for you. Like, even if it doesn't really matter who you're asking about, but they regret not being that person that you needed them to be. Like they regret not being, strong, or maybe having good character, or just maybe not carrying themselves in the best way. So yeah, it just feels like they regret not stepping up, being who you needed them to be. Like they could kind of feel like a loser, or see their actions as being lame, and they regret that, you know. So yeah, they regret not taking more confident action. They regret not being controlling enough, and this doesn't really feel like being controlling with you. It feels like they regret not being controlling um, with themselves, like maybe, in terms of maybe standards, or um, maybe pushing themselves, and kind of, again, like stepping up, so they could regret not having that kind of that oomph behind them, and their intentions and their actions. So yeah, they could also regret abusing their power. They regret resisting you, possibly missing an opportunity with you, not growing with you, not listening to you, and not compromising when it comes to you. So they could also regret not moving on from someone else. Maybe not moving on from someone else before they met you, maybe while they were with you. So yeah, they could regret not fully letting someone go. They regret stalling you. So they could even, like, take this as it, if it makes sense, or as it makes sense. But for some of you, they could regret stalling you in some area of your life. For others of you, though, they could regret stalling things between the two of you. They regret taking too long, and they just regret not being smarter, not being more reflective, not taking some accountability, and they wish that they had been more vulnerable and honest. And for some of you, like, this person could possibly regret using you, or having intentions to use you, even if they didn't kind of like see that through. So moving on, I have a question and I need an answer. We have let's play some games. Oh yeah, when I was pulling out these cards, the black ones, so many spicy messages came out. Like, it kept flipping over and I kept seeing it. I was like, okay, gotta take that one out. But yeah, I'll see if that has, I'll see what those kind of messages meant for your reading. But I thought it might be a bit too spicy for YouTube, so I reshuffled for you guys. But anyway, um, so yeah, we have let's play some games. We have you've got me all wrong. I want you to trust me enough to let your guard down around me. I see your scars. You need to let this go. We have you are so sexy. And we have recognize your spiritual authority, clearing negativity, and union of love. So with I got a question for you and I need an answer. They could regret not speaking up about something and speaking up about what? So they could regret not speaking up or not being forthcoming in some way. And I think earlier in the reading there was a message about them regretting not being straightforward. So I'm just going to see what that could be about. So the Seven of Cups upright, they could regret not being straightforward about their options or keeping their options open. Maybe being flirtatious for some of you guys, or like about like their playful energy towards other people. You know, if it fits in the context of who you're asking about. But it also feels like they regret. So only take this if it makes sense. But for some of you, they could regret using you intimately or having intentions to do that. So with you need to let this go, they could either regret being stubborn when it came to you, or like they regret not letting something go sooner when it comes to you. So with this card here, it feels like they regret there not being enough trust between the two of you, with you've got me all wrong. They regret like it feels like they could feel you have a certain perspective on them now, like you see them in a certain way now, and they regret how you could possibly see them, especially in like a negative light. They could really regret that. Like if you kind of like see them through the lens of their worst qualities or some of their worst qualities, then they could you know, really regret you seeing them like that. And I'm pretty sure it was this reading where it said they kind of regret um, not being the person that you thought they were or that you needed them to be. So yeah, it feels like they regret their current image, your current image of them. If that makes sense. So with this card here, let's play some games. It feels like they regret playing games with you, whether you were aware of those games or not. And with this card here, it feels like you are so sexy. It feels like they really regret not appreciating how fire you are, you know. And that was clarified by the Six of Wands as well. So they could find you very attractive, very beautiful, and they regret not appreciating that while they had it. So they could regret either scars they caused, maybe not recognizing some of the scars you already had, and maybe, you know, possibly adding on to that or kind of rubbing the scars the wrong way, and yeah. So with union of love, like simply they could regret not loving on you. They could regret not recognizing your authority, or just something about you, just maybe you in general, and like respecting who you are, what you brought, you know, your positive qualities, stuff like that. And they regret possibly putting you in a negative energy and not being able to kind of get rid of it, you know, like putting it there, but also not being able to get rid of it. I hope that makes sense anyway. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful. Wishing you the absolute best. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Okay, take care. Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the third group, then this reading could be for you. Person on your mind. What are their regrets when it comes to you? Do they have any regrets? Okay, so it seems this person does have some regrets, but it feels a bit different from the other groups. This one seems a bit more confusing, or let me see. Or they kind of feel like there are regrets on both sides, or that there should be regrets on both sides, or they just don't have many regrets, or the regrets that they do have, it's not as deep as like the first two groups. It doesn't really feel as intense as the first two groups. But we have the Seven of Pentacles upright, we have the Tower upright, and the Nine of Cups in reverse. So the person you're asking about, they could regret some kind of generosity that happened between you guys, whether this is you being generous with them or them being generous to you. It could be different from different people. But it feels like for some of you, actually, they either regret accepting your generosity or, again, like being generous with you. They could also regret you making some kind of effort towards them for whatever reason. One second. And for some of you, this could be because they feel that you guys maybe didn't work well together or can't work well together. So they could regret the effort you put into something with them, and that you guys maybe weren't able to what's the word I'm looking for? Like move forward in a cohesive way together. But anyway, so they either regret being taken advantage of by you or thinking you were trying to take advantage of them. But they do regret kind of like that energy and maybe like living in that energy for a little bit where it comes to you. They regret not committing to something with you. And it feels like this, this doesn't really feel work related or like a project. It doesn't really feel like a relationship either. So it could, like, what they regret not committing to with you or within the relationship you guys have, to be very different and personal for each of you. They also regret not setting expectations with you. They could regret making too much of an effort, could feel at some point they were doing way too much, maybe trying too hard, and not being themselves, maybe not believing in themselves as well. So they could actually regret putting you above them, or they could feel that they had a habit of selling themselves short in regards to you and making themselves smaller. So they kind of regret maybe having that energy within your relationship. And they regret you resenting them, or again, feeling like you resented them. It feels like maybe they're not sure which, or maybe it's different for each of you actually. So yeah, it feels like they kind of regret being insecure. They could regret making a shared goal that you two had a priority, They regret they regret not thinking about the long-term implications of your relationship. And they also regret the significant changes that occurred in your relationship and any negative, ramifications it has had. They kind of just regret not being a bit more realistic. They could also regret not helping you out through your instability. For some of you, they regret not being able to rebuild things with you. And for some of you, only take this if it makes sense, but they could regret letting you be selfish. And on their part, they regret being a bit delusional, about you, to be honest. Like they feel they didn't value themselves enough. And, they could feel like, earlier I said they could regret not, considering the long term when it comes to you, but they also could regret letting you focus on more short term pleasures. Like that's how they could perceive it. So, yeah, they could actually regret expecting too much from you or too much from the relationship that you guys had, and for having like maybe a bit of a shallow connection with you. So moving on, we have nothing will stand in my way. I'm a little distracted right now. Potential, innocence, balls deep. I've never met someone like you. Don't say no, say yes. Lottery, bet on yourself, spiritual protection, and drunk with love. So for some reason, it feels like they regret thinking that there was actual potential between you guys. With this card here, like they could regret their lack of confidence and maybe regret getting in their own way. And they could also regret distracting you or feeling like they were a distraction for you, or feeling like, for some of you, they could feel like they were, I don't want to say like a pebble in your shoe, but for some of you, they could have felt, let me see, like they were annoying you, for some of you here, or like they were getting in your way. Like they could also regret being too innocent in a way. Or they could just regret being perceived that way. And with I've never met someone like you, they could regret putting you on a pedestal. Because sometimes like when you put someone on a pedestal, you don't really act yourself around them, or you kind of like you're putting them above you. So like the dynamic is just off, and they could regret like approaching your relationship with that sort of, vibe. So they either regret you rejecting them or regret thinking that you would reject them. With spiritual protection, they could regret not protecting themselves enough where you are concerned. And with lottery, bet on yourself, they could regret not rating themselves enough. So this person, they could also find you quite intoxicating, but it feels like they regret getting kind of wrapped up in that intoxicating vibe that you have. Maybe, again, like because of the dynamic it created or because of the feeling it created inside of them. So yeah, they could actually overall just regret not seeing you both as equals and just approaching the situation like that. But that is all I have. I really do hope it could be helpful. I'm wishing you guys the best, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.